Gilbert, you're on News 96.5. Go ahead.
Hi, how you doing?
Good.
I got a question on the owner financing. What happens? Let's say you get into a owner financing contract, and you give them a large down payment, and the person that owns the property gets into tax trouble. Is there any way that they can, or the government, or if they get sued or whatever the case, can go for the property that you have a contract on?
So, Gilbert, would you be the buyer of this property?
Yes.
So, Gilbert, if you're talking about a traditional mortgage in closing, at the moment of that closing, the title to the property is placed into your name. Your seller walks out of there with a mortgage lien. So if after this date of closing, if your seller gets sued by the IRS or files bankruptcy, it is never going to change the fact, Gilbert, that you own that piece of property free and clear of all his liens.
Okay, and I'm not talking about a traditional mortgage. I'm talking about an owner financing where the owner, I guess you do a contract with the owner and you pay the owner, straight to the owner, and there's no bank involved.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, Gilbert. So I am talking about a owner financing where rather the bank holds a mortgage, your seller would hold a mortgage. So, Gilbert, if we're going to do a traditional mortgage like you're speaking of, I have no concerns about the issue that you're raising about your seller getting sued at a later date. Now, Gilbert, there are things out there that are very rarely used, and I do not recommend that you use them, or saying don't use them. There's something called an agreement for deed. In an agreement for deed, the property stays in your seller's name for years and years and years and years until you've made your final payment. And only once you make the final payment does the seller convey the title to the property to you. An agreement for deed,
gotcha.
Those are old school. They used to be used. They're rarely used anymore. Do not do that. Do a traditional owner financing where at the moment of closing, the title of the property is placed into your name, and then what happens to your seller after that date does not matter to you. Thank you, Gilbert.
The best thing to do, is get an attorney, a real estate attorney, when I do this, correct?
There's no doubt about that, Gilbert. So, Gilbert, step number one is always a contract for sale and purchase. If we get all these terms right in your contract for sale and purchase, everything else is going to fall right into line. So, Gilbert, if you've got a seller that's willing to do owner financing for you, then come to me. Let's do a contract for you to make sure that everything's covered.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate
All right, Gilbert, you're very welcome. Hey, folks, my name is Tom Olsen. The name of the show is Olsen on Law. We're going to take a break. We'll be back in just a few minutes.